The extra votes is really pretty useless in a senatorial district.
Which votes are?
The extra votes or the multiple votes per person is pretty
If there's no roll call vote, that's correct.
And having a roll call vote unless you campaigned ahead of.
No, if you have if most people want to have a roll call vote, they'll have one. Most people don't want to have one, you won't have one.
But here's the thing.
I understand. Again, you've got the chicken and the egg.
If you got a few people who are losing the vote that have the bulk of the votes, and they call for the vote, then those people keep losing even though they have the bulk of the votes. Until somehow you get to.
If you adopted a supplemental rule calling.
Unless you went out before the meeting. Unless you went out before the meeting and got 20% of the precincts to agree with you, you're pretty much screwed. Your majority or your plurality of votes at that point in time count for nothing.
You would have to get the 20% ahead of time,
yes,
or get the chair to call for a roll call. Right. That's how it's been since I've been active in the party. My first convention was 1980.
Okay.
Okay, like I said, method of voting is set in your supplemental rules, and they must be followed. And here's the process by which a roll call vote will be taken. And that's the end of the parliamentary procedures. There are a lot of parliamentary procedures that I have not covered. For example, down here I've got rules of debate. They're common sense. You try to alternate between pro and con as far as you can. You have common courtesy. You don't get into personalities and so forth. Common sense, common courtesy is going to get you through most of your parliamentary situations. I'm trying to think of any motions that I have. With voting. Yes,
Is the move to postpone the same as the move to table?
Okay, no. I apologize. I forgot to lay on the table was not included here. I apologize. Lay on the table is probably the most frequently misused motion. When somebody wants to kill a motion, they frequently say, I move to table it. Because it's frequently misused, Robert states, in order to table a motion, something of immediate urgency must have arisen. You can't table it simply because you want to table it. To table a motion means that you are temporarily setting it aside with no mention of when it comes back before the body. If your speaker has arrived, a guest speaker for the night, you can move to table the motion. Our guest speaker would say, I move to table the motion. Well, that'd be a legitimate use. You got your speaker time. You can't say, I move to table it until after our speaker has spoken, because now you're postponing it to a definite time. That's the motion to postpone indefinitely. So if you're going to move to table it, and the motion is properly tabled, then it remains outside of the business of the body until someone moves to take it from the table. Move to take it from the table is a simple majority vote, and now it's back before the body. If you fail to take it from the table, and you meet as often as quarterly, it remains on the table for the next regular meeting. If you fail to take it from the table at the end of the next regular meeting, the motion dies. Okay, is there any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I do have one, and this is probably more towards the precinct.
I'm sorry?
This is probably more towards the precinct conventions, and I've never been to one, so I wasn't really sure how they work. But when it comes to the voting, is the chairperson there just to lead the meeting, but not to be a voting participant in the meeting?
That's a very good question. Okay, her question was, in a precinct convention, is the chairman there to participate in the meeting, or is the chairman there basically just to preside over the meeting? The chair should, like a precinct convention or district convention, should preside only over the meeting. If, for whatever reason, the chair feels very strongly about a given issue and wishes to engage in debate, the chair should give the gavel over to someone else for the duration of the consideration of that motion that the chair is going to speak to. Once that given motion has been decided by the body one way or the other, the chair then resumes the chair and continues with the meeting. The chair should be very judicious in the use of that in order to protect their impartiality. If you're ever chairing a meeting, your mission is to chair the meeting. It's not to steer the outcome this way or that way. And it's very important because, particularly in the Republican Party of Texas, we're a grassroots party. We go from the bottom up. And this is our leaders are grassroots leaders. They believe in this. And so it's very important that the chair not become involved in these different debates. Just chair the meeting, let the body handle it as well. Any other questions? Larry?
Butch, I'm going to take a wild guess that many of the new folks going to state for the very first time are going to be most concerned about what comes out in the platform of RPT. Now, the platform committee is going to issue there'll be a report from the temporary committee available.
Yeah, I'm about to go through that.
Oh, okay, then you may answer my question. But in real brief, if a plank is not addressed in that initial report of the temporary committee, and if the delegate cannot convince the committee by personal testimony to stick it in, I'm sure that many delegates will want to know what avenues are available from the floor.
Okay, and I'll cover that, and if I don't address it, raise your hand again.